Hey soldiers, let's talk about the top 5 financial mistakes that you desperately need to avoid. If you can't avoid these economic pitfalls, then you're putting yourself in serious financial jeopardy. And we don't want that. Now, before we get started, just want to show you a little piece of this trail. I don't know if you can even get it from up here that this drops off. It's like kind of a cliff. Beautiful trail out here. And as soon as I'm finished hiking, we're going to get into the top 5 financial pitfalls that you absolutely must avoid if you want to not only survive, but thrive into the 2020s and beyond. Stick around to the end. We're going to add a 6th money mistake that you need to prevent yourself from making. All right, let's start. We're not going to do these in any particular order. I think they're all equally important. Now, the first one is nonstop payments. What's a nonstop payment? Look, Netflix, Hulu, gym membership, some type of box club. You know these clubs? I never understood these, where you get a box and it's like a mystery in the box. So it could be for clothing or for any number of things, colognes. And every month they send you a mystery box. Well, do you need it? Are you using it? How many of these types of never-ending payments do you have? Seriously sit down, comb through your bank account, wherever these items might be coming from, your credit card. Figure out, hey, am I even using any of these? All right. Does it make sense to even keep it? You would be surprised how many of these little non-stop payments you have that you don't know about that could be adding up to pretty big money. Okay, I know a lot of people might disagree with me on this one. A new car. Soldiers, we got to get over this one if you haven't already. A car is a depreciating liability in most cases. Unless, of course, you're buying a limo. Do they even have limos anymore? Or unless you're buying a delivery truck or a tractor trailer or something like that. Unless it is generating revenue, a car is going to be a depreciating liability, not an appreciating asset. And think about this. Most people are actually borrowing money to purchase a car. You're throwing good money after bad. This amplifies the difference between the value of the car and the price paid for it. Worse yet, many people trade in their cars every 2 to 3 years and lose money on every trade. It becomes a snowball effect downhill. And you also have to keep in mind that the average car payment in America today, new car payment, is over $700. Think about what you could do if you decided to put that money to work for you in an appreciating asset. Now, I know, unless you live in New York City, you're probably going to need a car. Listen, think about putting the money into the car that you already have. Make that sucker last as long as you possibly can. No one cares about what you're driving at the red light. They're all in their own world anyway. Instead, strongly consider putting that money to work for you instead of riding around in it. All right, excessive or frivolous spending. Look, guys, $25 a week on dining out is $1,300 a year. I am not suggesting that you be miserly and never enjoy life. I am suggesting that you look at these expenses and decide whether or not they actually make sense. I liked to go and get coffee from Dunkin' Donuts. I used to do it every day until I sat down, did some math, and figured out all I needed to do was buy my own coffee at home. And it saved me a tremendous amount of money over time. Now, you might be saying, oh, Tyrone, come on now. $25 is all it is every week. Well, that $1,300, sit down, calculate what it would look like if you were able to put an extra mortgage payment once a year onto your mortgage balance. How much money would that save you? And look, I'm into cooking at home. My recipes, oh, they taste much better than a restaurant after you perfect them. In all seriousness, most Americans are just a couple of payments away from being absolutely destitute or homeless. So take this seriously. recoup that money, put it to work for you, shoring up your financial position. All right, guys, we want to stop living on borrowed money. We want to stop using that credit card to buy everything from gas. Can you imagine buying gasoline with a credit card and then not paying that balance off before that 30-day cycle? You know what's happening? You're increasing the cost of that gasoline. Buying dinner at a fancy restaurant and not paying that bill off, you put it on that credit card, not paying that bill before that 30-day cycle is over, then you just made that meal more expensive. Okay, you even put the tip on the credit card, and that's more expensive. But the waiter isn't getting it. You're paying it. And the credit card company, who didn't do anything, they're getting the tip. So that's an example of that living on borrowed money. You want to absolutely avoid that. It's definitely not wise to start racking that up. Look at your credit card balance. Be honest with yourself. To what extent have you done that over the past 6 months to a year? And remember, credit card interest rates make the price of the charged item a great deal more expensive. We just said that the average credit card interest rate in America today is 24%. So with tip, you had a dinner for $100. Now, guess what? It costs $124 if you don't pay it off in the 30-day cycle. We got one more before the bonus one. Now that bonus one, I think it's going to knock your socks off. So hold on for me for just a second. Look, another issue that too many Americans have today is we're living paycheck to paycheck. Again, that is putting us as Americans into a situation where we are just a few steps away from being absolutely destitute, especially if you rent. Because if you rent, most of these apartment complexes are going to give you roughly 30 days. Then they're going to start proceeding toward eviction, okay? And many in the 30-day period. So you can find yourself evicted out on the street. So we got to back away from this living paycheck to paycheck type of existence, because we are really on the edge counting on our employer to keep us on, right? If they come in and say, look, something happened, we got to lay you off, and you're living paycheck to paycheck, that can turn into a nightmare. So in order to steer clear of the paycheck to paycheck trap, what you want to do is you want to build an emergency account. Now, we did a video on that. Go ahead and watch that video after this one. Learn how to put together and construct an emergency account so you can back as far away from being paycheck to paycheck as possible. All right, ready for the bonus? Okay, now this confuses a lot of people. Paying off debt with savings, especially retirement savings. All right, so you may think that if your debt is costing you 19% and your retirement account is making 7%, swapping the retirement for the debt means you will be pocketing the difference. But it's not that simple, guys. In addition to losing the power of compounding, it's hard to pay back retirement funds, and you could be hit with fees and taxation if you withdraw funds from a qualified account and the way you did it is not covered under the government's allowable withdrawals, okay? So you could be in a situation where you're hit with not only the taxation at your current rate, but the penalty as well, which puts you in a worse situation than if you were just paying off that debt, not using those types of accounts. All right, so what you need to do is get into the habit of paying yourself first. Now, if you're a W-2 employee, you don't even get to do that because Uncle Sam in your state, they come in and they pay themselves first from your money. And you got to pay your taxes. So, hey. But after that, you budget so that you can get paid from what you're out there doing to generate income, and also get your bills paid and keep your credit score in an area, in a range where you can, if you need to get credit for a mortgage, for a credit card, or for a car, again, not a new one, you are able to demand the best and lowest rates possible. And you can go in with that good credit score and also refinance to a lower rate once rates inevitably drop. We don't know when though, right? So that's how you handle that. Guys, listen, I want you to take a look at this video. Now, will the government offer us some relief on high credit card debt? There's a bill circulating in the Senate that seeks to do just that. But is it all it's cracked up to be? Watch that video. I'll talk to you soon.